WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The revolution will be broadcast. This is the next generation of talk. Now, on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, Rich Zeoli.
Welcome to the show, Congressman Byron Donalds, the man himself from the great state of Florida, representing the 19th Congressional District. But he's here in our hometown today. I'm so fired up, Congressman. It's great to talk to you.
Listen, I'm excited. It's going to be a great event tonight.
You know, last time I was with you, we were doing Jimmy Fallon's Fox News Saturday Night Show together. We got to hang out in the green room, and I got to hang out with your mom. She is the coolest woman I've ever met, by the way.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, she's great. She raised a great son. So we'll talk about the event tonight. Any comments on Biden's executive action on the border, which has so many loopholes in it you could drive a truck through?
The man is gaslighting the American people. I got back to my office to do this show, and I saw him walking up. And before I got on the line with you, I started playing the beginning of his statements. And the man flat out lied inside the first 30 seconds. This guy is a loser, and unfortunately, he's the president of the United States. And instead of admitting that he was wrong and reinstituting all of Trump's policies, or actually working with the House to come up with a compromise based upon H.R. 2, which, by the way, is the only border security bill that has passed the chamber in Congress, because the Senate bill never got out of the Senate because they didn't have enough senators vote for it. So they can keep telling the American people that, oh, Donald Trump is the reason we don't have border security. That is a lie. It is gaslighting. It is insanity brought to us by Joe Biden, the master of disaster.
The master of disaster. I love it. I love it. It's so true. And I already see that some of the real kooks in the Democrat Party on the left are very, very disappointed. I think that's gaslighting, too. They're trying to pretend like Biden's actually taking executive action here. It's going to do something. We are being gaslit, Congressman Donalds. You're exactly right.
No, it's true. And look, for the radical progressives in the Democrat Party, which frankly is half their party, let's just be perfectly clear, it ain't 5% people. It's half their party are radical progressives. Okay, the reality is that they want no changes. They actually want the borders open more. So I do think that there are some of them who are upset with what Biden's doing because they believe they finally have achieved their goal for the entire time, which was massively open borders. And they don't want changes even for a presidential election. The reason Joe Biden is doing this is because his poll numbers suck. Let's just call it exactly what it is. Don't mince words. His poll numbers suck because he sucks as a president. He's terrible, and he's got to do a fig leaf of reversing course. And that's what this mess is today. America, do not be confused by this charade and this sham coming out of the White House today. This is meant to gaslight you. This is meant to lie to you. This is a Potemkin village. This is what the Russians used to throw up in East Germany, these Potemkin villages, to make you think that everything was okay when you looked at it from the Berlin Wall. And when you went 4 blocks back, you realized that East Germany was in shambles. That is exactly what Joe Biden and the Democrats are doing. They are not serious about this country. They do not care about the American people. They care about their crazy agenda for their rich billionaires.
And, you know, as a great point of that, I mean, you put out yesterday on X regarding Fauci, you know, they demanded you trust the science. They silenced free speech. They shut down schools. They regulated businesses into bankruptcy. They fired good soldiers over vaccine mandates. They covered up the lab leak theory. They treated distancing and masks as gospel, but there was no science behind it. You know, I think about how many school kids in Philadelphia could not be in the classroom. I think about how many community centers were shut down, so there were no activities for these kids. And I also think about that in the context of illegal immigration, too. We see black community centers are being shut down now because they need them for illegal immigrants.
Oh, that's 100% correct. I mean, look, let's talk about it this way. The list that you just talked about with COVID-19, about community centers being shut down because of the border, about soldiers being fired, businesses having to be shut down, kids being locked out of schools in Philadelphia, black kids being locked out of schools for 2 years. If Donald Trump was president when that was happening, they would have said, oh, this man trying to take us all back to the plantation. Because literally Joe Biden said that about Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan back in 2012. That's what they would have been saying to us. But Joe Biden is the one that did that to the American people. He's the one that's done that to black people in Philadelphia. And what are they saying? Oh, well, he's doing everything that he can. No, he's not. He is not fighting for people in our country. He is not fighting for the people of Philadelphia. He is gaslighting them to keep them voting for him so he can run around with this crazy agenda. The border should have been secured the entire time because Donald Trump had it secured. Joe Biden didn't have to do anything. The smart thing would have been just to leave Trump's policies in place. But the radical Democrats in the Democrat Party could not allow that. They want the border open. They wanted COVID lockdowns. They want to keep people locked up economically. They don't want economic growth. They say they do, but they really don't. You know why? Because then you have to rely on them. And what I am saying, my friend Wesley Hunt, who's going to be in with me tonight in Philadelphia, what he is saying and what Donald Trump is saying is that you have so much ability and authority, and we are going to basically put the federal government under wraps so you are free to go make money, build wealth, be free, and make America great.
But if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. So how do you square that?
Again, Joe Biden's an idiot. Who listens to him? Who listens to this guy? I don't even want to listen to him. Listen, I had a couple of reporters ask me about, oh, well, were you with Donald Trump in South Carolina at the Black Conservative Federation? I said I was. They go, well, were you offended when Donald Trump said that because he's been indicted at the time, just indicted, because he's been indicted, that means that black people are starting to warm up him? Don't you find that to be racist? No. What I found racist was Joe Biden saying that if I didn't vote for him, that I wasn't a black man. I was going to say something else, but I'm going to be respectful of your airwaves. Joe Biden is the one who has always launched these racial epithets into our politics. That is him. And so what I'm not going to do is have this position as a member of Congress, sit here and just basically follow along with what the political class likes to do, or listen to the punditry on CNN and MSNBC and put my head in the sand because they came at me with some rough words. Nah, man, I'm pushing back. Wesley's pushing back. And I think it's not even about fight. It's honesty and common sense. That's what people want. That's what people want to hear. And that's the type of leadership people need, especially black people in America.
Real quick, before I let you go, since you brought up the issue of Donald Trump being persecuted, the verdict out of New York, your home state, where again, I hung out with your mom. She was so cool. I know she still lives there. I mean, I think it's helping him. I do. I think it's firing people up like we've never seen before. And for a lot of people,
you guys broke up. I missed you. I didn't hear you.
I was just saying, Congressman, about New York and what happened there. Last question for you.
Oh, man, listen. The New York trials, let me just tell you, what Alvin Bragg has done is a violation of Donald Trump's constitutional rights. Before you even get to the elements of the case, his constitutional due process rights were violated. And look, the due process is enshrined in our Bill of Rights. The framers, they did not just think that up on their own. Due process goes as far back as Magna Carta in 1215. When you had lords and serfs who were being thrown in jail by the monarchy with no ability to address the wrong that they were told, no ability to defend themselves, no ability to have an impartial process to determine adjudication. That's where the basis of common law in our legal system came from, as far back as Magna Carta. His constitutional rights were violated because Alvin Bragg never told the world or Donald Trump's own team what he was being charged with. Not the underlying crime. They never said the underlying crime. It's not even clear if the jury knows unanimously what the underlying crime is. And Supreme Court precedent is that you have to have a unanimous underlying crime for a guilty conviction in the United States of America. His rights were violated. And you got people running around talking about, oh, well, you got to listen to the jury. No, I don't. No, I don't. Not what my lying eyes tell me otherwise. You don't have to do that. And so I think he was wrong. His rights were violated. I stand with President Trump. He's definitely going to appeal. And in my view, yes, the Supreme Court does have to look at this because you're dealing with the presidential elections. It's not a typical criminal case in a jurisdiction in America.
Well said. I'm glad you're on the short list for VP. I'm really thrilled about that, and I hope it gives you careful consideration because you would do a phenomenal job. Join him tonight, Congress, Cognac, and Cigars, Congressman Byron Donalds, Representative Wesley Hunt, and Michelle Tafoya, Cigar Code in Philadelphia. Thank you, my
Appreciate
friend.
that, guys.
We'll do a
Love you,
cigar
guys.
and tequila together later.
The Rich Zeoli Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.